Top 10 times the royals lied to us, 2020. More than 6 months after the event, the royal family last week revealed Prince William tested positive to coronavirus in April. It was kept private to avoid alarming the nation. It's not the first time the palace has opted to keep things within the royal family hush-hush, although the reasons differ all the time. Top 10. Diana threw herself downstairs while pregnant with Prince William. English columnist Andrew Morton talked with Diana for her 1992 account, Diana, Her True Story, on the state of secrecy on explicit subjects. Numerous years after the fact, after her passing, the disclosure that she hurled herself down steps while pregnant with Prince William was distributed in records of the meeting tapes. The episode happened while Diana was 4 months pregnant with William in 1982. She revealed to Morton that she was so frantic for her significant other Charles's consideration that she depended on this consideration looking for strategy. She knew at the time that Charles was having an unlawful illicit relationship with Camilla Parker Bowles and in this way was battling with depression. I had revealed to Charles the first felt so edgy and I was sobbing hysterically, Diana said in the accounts. He said I was telling a shameful lie. I'm not going to tune in, he said. You're continually doing this to me. I'm going riding now, so I hurled myself down the steps. Diana was wounded from the episode, yet she said she realized she wasn't going to lose the infant. Top 9. 8th King Edward was a Nazi sympathizer. Edward VIII, who was Queen Elizabeth II's uncle, had one of the briefest reigning rulers in British history, adding up to only 326 days in 1936 as king, because of his need to wed a separated from lady, which at the time was exacting untouchable for a regal. Anyway, after his relinquishment in 1937 he visited Germany. In the event that you know your set of experiences, at the time Germany was a Nazi state under Adolf Hitler's standard, so such an excursion was pretty unusual. He made the outing against the exhortation of the British government and met with Hitler, which made news in Germany. It's important he made the visit with regards to the ascent of communism in Eastern Europe, so he considered Germany to be a lesser evil at that point, which history will condemn. Plenty of insight concerning Edward's relationship with Hitler turned out in 2015 in the previously mentioned Morton's book 17 Carnations, The Royals, the Nazis, and the Biggest Cover-Up Ever. The book nitty-gritty, the various compulsions and supper dates among the Mystery Fellowship and how Britain attempted to cover it all up. It is additionally asserted that Hitler had arranged, if Germany won the battle, to restore Edward as king of a fundamentalist Britain. Top 8. Prince Charles dated Diana's sister first. This story might be investigated in the following arrangement of the crown. However, it is perceived Princess Charles dated Diana's more seasoned sister Lady Sarah McCorquodle quickly in 1977. It's supposed Charles dated roughly 20 ladies in this period as he looked for a proper spouse to take on regal obligations, prior to choosing Diana. Thus, not all dating accomplices were made public. Charles and more seasoned sister Sarah's relationship happened before Charles and Diana were impractically connected, regardless of the reality they had normally as of now met. There's blended reports about how long they dated, some state up to 9 months, however whichever way it went poorly. In a staggering meeting, Sarah revealed to the Mirror at that point, she said their relationship was just non-romantic, and that she wouldn't wed Charles on the off chance that he were the dustman or the King of England. It's currently come out, when Charles discovered, he reached her and revealed to her she'd accomplished something idiotic, and that was the finish of that. Sarah has additionally later marked herself as Cupid for acquainting Diana and Charles with one another. Top 7. They're not royals. Richard III was King of England for a long time from 1483 to 1485. That is a long, quite a while past. However, in 2012 his remains were found in a parking garage, the area of the previous Greyfriars Church, in Leicester after a deliberate inquiry. DNA tests affirmed they in fact were Richard's remains. However, the DNA tests opened up a scope of new learnings, specifically it was what researchers called a bogus paternity occasion. In layman's terms, that implied Richard wasn't connected with any of his fatherly family members, breaking the illustrious chain. It very well might be derived eventually in time. An issue may have happened, which means the monarchical inheritance may have been lost along the way. To be reasonable, this has never been demonstrated decisively whichever way, and whether the regal family really thought about it is absolutely indistinct. Be that as it may, in the event that somebody did, it's a critical mystery. Top 6. Camilla Gate. Scarcely a month after Princess Diana and Prince Charles declared their official split in 1993, the record from a 1989 sleep time discussion among Charles and Camilla was unveiled. The close 6-minute discussion uncovered the closeness of their relationship, and at last their issue, when Charles and Camilla were both married. Charles and Camilla had really been together in the mid-1970s, yet their relationship finished suddenly in 1973, not long after he joined the Royal Navy. They'd remained companions, and that kinship ultimately developed in a sentimental relationship, while Charles was hitched to Princess Diana. There were a lot of bits of gossip about the reviving of the relationship, however it was obviously open instantly upon Charles and Diana's part. In this manner the title Camilla Gate, or Tampon Door as the prince said he needed to get one to live inside her trousers. Charles later conceded his marriage with Diana had hopelessly separated in 1986, consequently starting his reassociation with Camilla. His relationship with Camilla was at that point known by at that point, yet this discussion uncovered their profound and close association, and they'd later wed in 2005. Top 5. Princess Margaret fell in love with a married man. Princess Margaret was Queen Elizabeth II's more youthful sister, and as a youngster she got captivated by Peter Townsend, who was her chaperone and the king's equerry or official of honor. Townsend wasn't simply anyone. He was a regarded war saint who'd been chosen for regal help in 1944, having astonishingly ascended through the positions. The issue was Townsend was non-named and non-well off, yet additionally married. The interest turned genuine when Margaret entered her 20s after Townsend had been named controller of her mum's family following the demise of her dad King George VI in 1952. It's not satisfactory precisely when the sentiment began, in spite of the fact that Margaret later guaranteed she experienced passionate feelings for him during a visit through South Africa in 1947 as they shared time together riding ponies. Given Townsend's nearby function inside the royals, the sensationalist newspapers didn't know about any affection association at the time. Rumors started after Townsend separated from his first spouse in 1952, and the following year he proposed to Margaret. Given his status, their 16-year age hole, and the reality he was father to 2 kids, Margaret required her sisters, by then Queen, agree to acknowledge a scope of conditions, including her own ongoing crowning ordinance, implied Elizabeth asked Margaret to stand by and stay quiet about it. Meanwhile, it in the end came out violently and they never wedded. Top 4. Princess Anne's husband's love child. Ruler Charles's sister Princess Anne wedded English Olympic equestrian gold decoration victor Chief Mark Phillips in 1973. The couple were hitched for very nearly 20 years and have 2 youngsters together. Anyway, it wasn't uncovered at first that during their marriage Phillips had a throw with a New Zealand craftsmanship instructor, New Zealander Heather Tonkin. Tonkin really brought forth a young lady, Felicity, in 1985. Eventually the undertaking and potential parenthood got out openly as Anne looked for a separation. Phillips was consistently trying to claim ignorance about his love child as well. During a paternity suit in 1991, the court requested Phillips go through a DNA test which affirmed he was indeed the dad. It's accepted that the pair met while riding in New Zealand and had a single night rendezvous. Phillips needed her to have a fetus removal, yet she can't. He furtively paid kid uphold, accepted to be around $12,000 every year, except had no contribution in Felicity's life. Tonkin, who disclosed the circumstance, stated, "I am doing what I am accomplishing for my youngster. I trust and ask Mark will make the best choice and make an appropriate and lawfully restricting settlement on her." Top 3. Squidgygate. In 1992, The Sun openly uncovered tapes of a discussion between Princess Diana and her drawn-out companion and Lotus sales rep James Gilbey. The idea of their relationship wasn't public in any way. Indeed, the discussion occurred when Diana and Prince Charles were going towards separate as their relationship broke, with the last taking part in an extramarital entanglements with his future spouse Camilla Parker Bowles. The tapes uncovered a racy degree of affection among Diana and Gilbey which alluded to something sentimental. The name Squidgygate came from Gilbey tenderly alluding to Diana as Squidgy multiple times. Diana really called Gilbey dear multiple times. It was hazardous stuff and came out a couple of years after the discussions had occurred, so Diana and Charles at this point were occupied with unpleasant separate from procedures in an advertising fight to Squidgygate filled the newspaper media's inclusion of the drawn-out quarrel and separation for quite a while after The Sun at first uncovered them. The specific idea of Diana and Gilbey's relationship was never entirely explained openly, Morton named it a dalliance while others considered it an issue. Top 2. King George and Queen Mary's son had epilepsy. Lord George and Queen Mary ruled from 1910 to 1936, yet during that period they stayed quiet. Their most youthful child Prince John created epilepsy at a youthful age, and as his condition disintegrated he was covered up at the family bequest. It's said he was avoided from family photographs, and at whatever point he ventured out to London to see his PCPs the blinds were drawn. He was avoided significant occasions, similar to his folks' crowning celebration, yet that was for well-being reasons. There was additionally some worry that John had indications of mental imbalance and he was considered to not be adequate to the rest of the world. Anyway, it wasn't until he was around 11 years of age that the royals selected to keep him out of the public eye. Cases he was covered up at an early age are inaccurate. John endured seizures and they just intensified with time. Unfortunately, he died matured just 13 out of 1919. Simply after his passing did the regal family uncover to the public that John had been engaging epilepsy. Top 1. Prince Andrew's friendship with sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Sovereign Andrew's connections with sentenced sex-guilty party Jeffrey Epstein are well and really open these days, however that just a brief time after the agent's wrongdoings. The outrage prompted Andrew, who is the third offspring of Queen Elizabeth II, leaving all open functions as a feature of the regal family in late 2019. Epstein was first explored in 2005 and sentenced in 2008, serving 13 months in care. However, it heightened in mid-2019 when he was captured again on government charges for sex dealing of minors, before he kicked the bucket in his phone a month later. It's gotten Epstein and Andrew met no later than 1999, presented by the previous ex, Ghislaine Maxwell. Notwithstanding being imprisoned in 2008, Andrew kept up his fellowship with Epstein and the pair were shot together in 2010. There was a photograph spilled in the press with Andrew and Virginia Roberts Giuffre, who was a casualty of Epstein's, prompting him being recognized in a Florida court looking into the issue. Andrew was never charged for any violations, however his associations with Epstein were a PR bad dream for the royal residence. Thank you for watching. Like, share and subscribe.